Hey everyone, it's Megan. I'm finally getting around to actually filming my videos. So the most requested thing that I get when I go into work and someone says, your makeup looks great, how do you do that? Is usually about some sort of eye look. So today I thought we would do something simple and start simple and just look at doing a smoky everyday work, fun, play, doing housework, laundry, whatever kind of smoky eye day, okay? And I'll speed through some of the other portions of my makeup just so you don't have to sit through the entire thing. The first thing we need to start off with is an eye base. I usually do my eye makeup first, and that is really because you want to make sure that if there's any fallout that happens from your eyeshadow, whether it's pressed really hard or if it's very powdery, you don't want it all over your base that you've just like created this flawless look with, because that would be ridiculous. So this way we can wipe up any damage and move on and not even worry about having to fix that part. So we'll start with that. There are a lot of different eye makeup bases out there. You can try different ones. Some of the ones are a little bit more difficult, I think, to use than others. There's some really good ones out on the market. The e.l.f. Putty Primer for the eye makeup is really, really good. It does take a learning curve to use. The best thing to use, really, using a concealer and patting it all over your eyes. I feel like that is the best way to learn, especially if you're learning how to blend colors. It makes it a lot easier. And if you make a mistake, it's not like it's on there like glue. So what I'm gonna use today is the Milani Conceal and Perfect. The shade I'm using is 125 Light Natural, because I'm a pale ass bitch. And I'm just gonna drag it across both parts of my eye. And then take my sponge, which I've already wetted, and it looks really gross. So y'all can just get over that part, okay? I started my clinicals this week, you guys. It's been a long time coming, and I was so incredibly nervous. Oh my God. It was like walking in on the very first day of your job, of school. I mean, everything. I was like the pile of nerves. I thought I was gonna have to like have a massive blowout of like diarrhea in my pants. You guys know what I'm talking about when you get all those butterflies. You guys can play with whatever eyeshadow works for you in what's in your budget. I don't feel like you have to pay an enormous amount of money just to get good quality eyeshadow. I think that's silly. One of my favorite indie brands, I don't even know if you can call them that anymore because they're starting to be so mainstream. They're even carried in Ulta now. But I really, really like ColourPop. This one is called Stone Cold Fox. It is their cool toned neutrals palette, okay? Don't come for me, it's a little dirty because I use it. Imagine that. But you see how they're cool tones all up in there? Yeah, the cool tone neutrals is where I live. I get a fluffy brush. It's about this big. I don't really care like what brand it is as long as it doesn't like fall apart after one washing, because that's how you know it's like not a good idea. I'm gonna go in with a transition color. Basically, it's gonna go like right up here. Okay, I'm going to pick, I think I'm gonna pick, I don't know if you guys can see it, the U Rock color, which is right here, okay? I'm gonna swirl my brush, get a little bit on there, and then I'm gonna tap the excess off. Then I'm gonna start over here in the corner, okay? And I'm just going to start blending it in with like light circles, okay? And again, that's going on the top part here. Okay, you got to think of your brow bone as being like restricted entry only, okay? And you can't bring your eyeshadow like totally up to your brow bone unless you are really, really good at making it look fabulous or you want to live in the 80s. okay? Either one, really. If you have deep set eyes the way I do, you have kind of like a hooded eye situation in which your eyes, you need to lift your eyebrows and so that you can get like a nice even coverage. So anyway, back to clinicals, right? Okay, that looks pretty good. It's a little uneven, but whatever. Out there in my white coat and my scrubs and, you know, the look of absolute terror on my face. And a nice person let me in, which was great. And it ended up being one of the PAs in the practice that I was going to be doing my clinicals at. I think this one I got on sale at Ulta. It's one of their, was it one of their Black Widow? It was one of their Marvel launches where they did fun brushes for, but it's kind of fun. It's got like this ombre look on it. See, it's really cool. And I found it in the sale bin for like $4. Score. One of these darker colors. I think I'm gonna do either bold type or cult classic, or maybe a mix of the two and just see how they look. And it's kind of a flat brush, so that means you're just gonna pat it on. You're not gonna actually like all over your face. So I'm just gonna pat it on because I'm gonna use a different blender. And it doesn't matter if it goes all over your face. Why? Because we're gonna clean it up later. And I go up the stairs and they're in the middle of huddle. Do you ever, like, have you ever been late to class and you walk in and literally everybody, you know, looks towards the door and looks at you? That's absolutely the fear, okay? So that was great. And I did not have a good time with that, but everybody was super nice as soon as I walked in the door, even though they all looked at me and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna pee my pants. But it looks like utter crap right now, and that's okay. We gotta trust the process, okay? Okay. How wondrously messy that looks. It looks like a toddler has attacked my face. Excellent. That's how you know you're doing something. So anyway, on the first day, they don't, now I'm gonna take my blender brush. Can I talk? My blender brush. Sound it out. And I'm just gonna start to blend everything in, okay? And I'm not digging right into my eyeballs, like into my skin. It's like mostly light, okay? Just like what we did with our transition color, our border color. You're like, Megan, that is so dark, why? Because we're gonna lighten it up, Shug, and it's gonna look great, okay? Very first day of clinical, they don't have you do anything, which is marvelous because I don't even know if I would like know how to speak the language that I was taught to speak, right? It's like you lose everything you've ever learned and you're like, no, I'm an imposter here. Just kidding. Just came to see if you all were paying attention, okay? So basically what I did was I followed around the charge nurse and some of the med techs and this one girl that I thought it was kind of cool. She was both I think she was a radiology tech and a med tech, because she kind of did like a little bit of everything, it looked like, which that's an awesome skill. I mean, if you're looking for a marketable job right now in a clinic, being both a radiology tech plus a med tech, nice. That's a marketable skill right now, my friends. Okay, so you see how I'm kind of like blending, but I'm not digging my brush in. It's just nice and kind of smoky. It was fine. It was interesting. And especially because those of you who know me know that I have never worked in a clinic setting before. So, and like most people in medicine, do I go to the doctor as often as I should? No, because I I have a fear of catching something in the waiting room. Laugh if you must. Okay, the key is to give yourself enough time to blend. And especially like I haven't used some of these particular colors before, so you kind of just have to play with it a little bit. And that's what we're doing today. We're just playing, right? Right. Okay, so now we've got kind of our deeper color on our outside here. We've got a lighter color as kind of sitting up there at the top. Okay, and now we're gonna go in and we're gonna add some bling. Some of the eyeshadows will actually tell you these are not meant for the eyes, but they're in an eyeshadow palette. Use at your own risk. I don't really recommend doing that unless you really know what you're doing and you use a special type of primer to put it down to basically almost glue it to your eyelid, because you do not want to get those pieces of glitter in your eyeball and risk possibly a corneal abrasion, for example. That would be really bad. Some of them are so finely ground in there that even if you were to get some of it in your eye, it's not going to cause the kind of damage that some of the larger pieces would. So I'm going to try out, let's swatch a couple and see what we think. We have this one, which is kind of like goldy. It's kind of goldy, it's kind of dark. Let's see, this one is called Caving In. This one's a little darker. They almost look like the same color. And then I'm kind of interested in the silver, of course. Oh my God, it's so cool though. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Okay, so when you put on like a shiny or glittery, a shinier color, I like to take my finger, and we're just gonna kind of start at the inner corner and head towards the outer edge, okay? I do go above my eyelid. And that's okay. So we're gonna kind of blend it into everything. Okay. Now I'm gonna take that original blender brush. I'm not even gonna add any color. All I'm gonna do is just kind of buff into here so that things start to look a little bit more cohesive, a little bit more clean, okay? Everybody at the clinic was really nice. I have no idea since I don't really know like what they do at a clinic, like it's really, I was curious, like, do they do hardcore labs? Can they even do COVID testing? You know, that kind of thing. I was curious to see how that would like end up turning out. But they do a lot of really great things. And I was shocked at how like efficient they were. I mean, whew. If an ER and other places could be half as efficient as these people were, it would be amazing. Add just a tiny bit of this dark gray called Rumor Mill. And I mean like that much, very tiny. And all I'm gonna do is I'm dabbing just a tiny bit on the outer corner. I wanna make our eyes look slightly larger. Okay, and we're mixing our neutrals here. And that's okay. I'm gonna take a Quarry Days color. I'm gonna buff the edges with that color, okay? And the reason I'm doing that is because you wanna create kind of an interesting mixture and dimension of your eyes. So it's not just flat with one color. You've actually got a little bit more dimension to it. So we're gonna do our eyeliner. I have been a fan of liquid black eyeliner since I was 14. There's something about it that just looks very cohesive, very together. So I'm gonna start off with marking because I know not everybody is comfortable with it. So we'll use two different types. There's two really good types out there. There's the pens. This one is KVD Vegan Beauties tattoo liner. It's really good. And it's got this great bristle brush. Okay, it's got you know, see how it's got like an edge to it? That is like really good. And I'm going to make a mark that's just below, okay, just below the corner of my eye. And I don't really care like how thick it is right now because I'm gonna use something else to bring it across. The trick that somebody taught me was when you're doing this, see the angle at the end of your eyebrow down to the bottom of your eye. See how that works right there? And you kind of want to like bring it up so that it matches that angle. Okay, so they look fairly even. I really don't care if mine do not totally match, because who is perfect at that? Very few people. Okay, next, another kind of black liner that's really good is that I've been using for years is the L'Oreal Intense Liner. I have it in carbon black, and it's cool because it's got like a brush, like a paint brush. See how you can just like bend all over the place, and you can kind of control how much on it that you can. So it was interesting at the clinic seeing the type, like all kinds of walks of life coming in for various things that I was like, wow, people actually come in for things like, should I be going into the doctor when I see things like this? In my own body or in my own child? I don't know. That one looks horrendous, but it's okay. We can always fix it, okay? I'm just gonna take the end and drag it across. Okay, so we have our black liner on. I'm gonna speed through the rest of my makeup really fast so you don't have to sit here through the whole thing. And then we'll come back and we will do the under part of our eyes, we'll do our mascara, and we'll just kind of finish off our look, okay? One thing, best trick ever. Take your makeup wipe. Here's how we're gonna clean. Look at that. Yay! Perfection. Okay. So we're gonna do that real quick, and then I'll come back and we'll do the rest of it at the end. I'm back. My brows are done. My face base is on, and I'm letting it marinate before I put on bronzer and blush and highlighter. I like my foundation, concealer, primer to all kind of have a moment to get to know each other first before I start adding in more characters. So I go back to finishing my eyes off. Okay, and brows don't come for me. Everybody's different. The one thing I will say about brows is that they don't have to be twins. They just have to look like they're from the same family. So this is what works for me. You do you. I do me. There's no rules. Okay? Okay. So, first thing I want to do to finish off my eyes, I'm going to hit my waterline here. You don't have to do this, but it's kind of a nice way to make your eyes kind of pop. I like to use the e.l.f. No Budge retractable liner in black because I feel like it stays on the longest. I'm going to take my sponge and literally just pull down my waterline a little bit. I mean, literally at clinic the other day, it was like I saw people come in with insect bites and COVID symptoms, even though I didn't see those patients because they do not allow students to see those patients with any kind of screening or any symptoms that come close to that, which is nice, you know, that's helpful. This brush that we did kind of like our padding of our darker colors, and I'm gonna take this Rumor Mill color, this kind of gray color, just very tiny bits on the very end. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of go from the out and I'm just gonna go lightly in, okay? I'm gonna kind of try to mirror similar to what we did on top, okay? So now I'm gonna take my fluffy brush. That is difficult, okay? I'm gonna take my fluffy brush, fluffy brush, dip into that bowl type, and I'm gonna run it lightly underneath right here, okay? Take a very, very, very tiny brush. We're gonna get one that's like this, okay? And I'm going to take just a tiny bit of that super duper silver and I'm gonna kind of put it right along here of my lash line. Looks pretty good. They sort of look similar. So now I'm going to connect the inner portion. Now that I've got my shadow perfect the way I want it to, I'm going to use that original tattoo liner and I'm going to draw with a steady hand, hopefully. Now we're gonna do mascara. Of course I didn't grab it, hold on. So I like to curl my lashes no matter if I'm using fake lashes or not. So I'm just gonna go ahead and curl real quick. You know, the crazy part about urgent cares and clinics is that they are able to do so much. Oh my God, I almost ruined this right here. They are able to do so much in a very short amount of time. I'm using the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise in Blackest Black. I mean, they saw hundreds of patients in like the shortest amount of time you could possibly imagine. By the way, I'm feeling a clumpy lash, so don't come for me here, okay? And yes, I do know that I've just gotten like a whole bunch of stuff all over my eyelid because of the mascara. It's okay. We'll take care of it. We're gonna let it dry, and then we're gonna do a magical trick. So I told you we're going to fix our mascara parts, right? Take your fluffy brush that you used for just blending and everything. You're going to hit the spots that have the mascara right here, okay? And literally, they're just going to blend right in. I didn't put any extra shadow on. I just am gonna wipe them away. Amazing. To set our face, I like to use these misters that are like, isn't that beautiful? Okay, watch yourself. Whew. We did it. We made it through a smoky eye everyday look. I hope you guys had fun listening to some of my random thoughts about clinical. I'm excited. I'll be back there next Tuesday. I think for our next one, we'll talk about maskne and how to like put on your foundation and concealer and powder to like kind of offset some of the hot mess that occurs because of wearing a mask for 6 to 16 hours a day. Hopefully it was helpful. And you guys, it's fun to be able to talk to you. Normally we'd be hanging out and talking makeup and medicine and all kinds of stuff in person, but COVID has kind of kept that to the side, but that's okay. We'll try to make it work this way. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.